Jan Stenerud will kick it off for the Minnesota Vikings as the Pack won the toss, and it's a short kickoff coming down at the 6. Rookie Gary Ellerson, number 42 for the Packers, gets some outside room and works his way near the 30-yard line. So Green Bay on this beautiful afternoon in Milwaukee will begin play, and they spotted at the 27. Willie Teal made the tackle. Lynn Dickey will bring out Eddie Lee Ivory and Jesse Clark. His wide receivers, the speedy Philip Epps and James Lofton, who had 10 catches last week. Swanke, Euchre, Cannon, Hallstrom, Cook, and tight end Paul Kaufman across the front. Euchre missed a couple of days of practice with a knee injury, but pronounced himself ready to go. If he has a problem, we'll see Rich Moran, the rookie from San Diego State, at the guard position. Slot formation to the right as the Packers open the offensive series for the day. Epps in motion back toward the ball. Dickey, a screen for Clark, and overthrew him a little bit. Clark tried to fingertip it in, couldn't do so. It'll be second down for the Minnesota Vikings. The opportunity here to move a little closer to the leading Chicago Bears. It depended, of course, on what happens later today on CBS. In most parts of the country, you'll be seeing the Bears and the San Francisco 49ers, the unbeaten Bears. And the Vikings here at 3-2 would like to move it up to 4-2. Second and 10. Epps, Denard, and Lofton now the wide receivers. Preston Denard comes in on second and 10. Pitch out to Ivory. Good hole for Eddie Lee Ivory out the right side, and close to first down yardage for the speedster from Georgia Tech. Scott Studwell and Rufus Betts making the tackle for the Vikings.
And you notice he cut very well. He was on the dirt there and cut back. They took the sod off here yesterday because of the fact that the sod had not taken hold, so they're playing on the dirt there, and some of the players were worried before the game as to how their footing would be coming across on that dirt field. Well, that time it was a nice cut by Ivory, so it looks like the field is in pretty good shape, Tim. Beautiful day, as you said, 65, 68 degrees, the sun is out, and it's not too wet on the field, despite the fact they had rain the last couple of days.
Third down and a yard, a 9-yard pickup for Ivory. They give to Jesse Clark, and he has the first down to the Packer 40-yard line. Vikings using several different looks defensively this season, more so than last year. The rookie Chris Dolman, number 56, on the hit there with Joey Brown to the safety, and they've used 4-man fronts and 3-man lines with Dolman working in place of the injured Matt Blair on that left corner spot, their number 1 choice from Pittsburgh, the left outside linebacker spot. Matt Blair on injured reserve, but just about ready to come back, we're told. Big hit on Gary Ellis behind the line of scrimmage. Initial contact, I believe, made by the linebacker Dolman. And there'll be a loss on the play. A Viking is slow to get up. There's Chris Dolman, 6'5", 250 pounds, built very similarly to Matt Blair, a little heavier, but that good, tall, rangy kind of linebacker.
And he was in on 15 tackles last week, and that time he shot across.
Benton backs in on 2nd and 11. The Packers at their own 39-yard line. Epps goes in motion behind the ball. Ivory and Clark the setbacks. They give it to Clark on a kind of a semi-draw, and he gets only about a yard back to the original line of scrimmage. Mark Mullaney, number 77, and Scott Studwell, number 55, for the Vikings on the tackle. Vikings in their 4-man front with Elshire, Doug Martin, Mark Mullaney, and Keith Millard, the rookie from Washington State who played last year in the USFL. Dolman, Studwell, and Martin are the linebackers in a 4-3, with Bess and Teal on the corners, Browner and Nord as the safeties. As we commented, Vikings showing a lot of defensive looks. Blake Moore comes in on the shotgun to snap the ball to Lynn Dickey. Forrest Gregg saying we're going to go to the shotgun more. It's something the Packers have not done, and Dickey's still adjusting to it. Up the middle, he's got Kaufman open, overthrows it, and the immediate tackle on the interception by John Turner. Kaufman saw the ball overthrown and put the hit on Turner, but it's Minnesota ball at the 35-yard line of the Vikings.
Well, that was simply a misfire by Lynn Dickey. He threw it a little bit too far for Kaufman at number 82 as he goes right down, tries to split the zones. And you see Dickey just put a little bit too much mustard on it. And there was John Turner, the 6th defensive back, for an easy interception. The ball was right in his hands. He said, "Thanks, Ma, I'll take it." Interception for John Turner, who was, released by the Vikings, and then they picked him back up again.
Turner just had to be standing still. The ball came right to him. Not a good connection by Lynn Dickey. And so the Vikings at their own 35 come out with Tommy Kramer at quarterback. And it gives it Darren Nelson, and the Packers swarm in and drop him for a loss on first down. Mark Murphy, the strong safety, found an opening and fired in there and dropped Nelson for a loss of 2.
Yes, he was basically on a safety blitz that time, and they tried some action with the lineman going the other way, tried the counter, and Mark Murphy ran right into the play, and the Packers may be showing signs of a lot of blitzing that they did last week against Detroit. It really confused the Lions. They were all over the place on the Lions. With really a fine victory.
Tommy Kramer throwing at 56.3%, 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The motion behind the ball is Mike Jones, number 89. Play action pass on 2nd and 12. Up the middle, good catch by Jones, and he has a first down for the Vikings. Tight coverage on him by Murphy. But Jones made the fine catch, and Minnesota, with a 15-yard pickup, has a first down at their own 48. The Vikings offense, Kramer at quarterback, Brown and Darren Nelson. We'll see Alfred Anderson. He's back from a knee injury. Jones and Anthony Carter, refugee from the USFL. Rouse, Boyd, Swilly, Tausch, Irwin, and the tight end Steve Jordan.
And that is a big offensive line, isn't it?
It is. Inexperienced, with Brent Boyd coming off injured reserve a year ago, the 5-year man from UCLA. This is Ted Brown. Brown picks up about 5 off right tackle. Charlie Martin, the nose man, number 94, making the hit for the Green Bay Packers. The Packers in their 3-4, Robert Brown on the left side, replacing the injured Alfonso Carricker. Martin on the nose, Ezra Johnson, pass rusher supreme on the right. The linebackers are Anderson, Scott, the rookie Brian Noble, and the veteran Mike Douglas. And the secondary, Lee and Lewis on the corners. Mark Murphy and Tom Flynn are the safeties. 2nd and 6, a 4-yard mark on the first down run. Darren Nelson gets to the 45-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. It'll leave 3rd and a long 2. Randy Scott, the newly appointed defensive captain of the Packers, made the tackle.
You know, we mentioned earlier in the telecast that the Vikings could be 5-0. As you remember what happened to them last week, the critical play at the end of the game. But with a break or two, they could have won that football game. And remember, they were beating the Bears rather handily until the Bears threw in Jim McMahon. And those are the 2 losses the Vikings have. So they have played so much better football with Bud Grant back.
Double tight end against a 4-man front now for the Packers. Kramer complete, has the first down. It's Jones again. Mike Jones, number 89, inside the 40 of Green Bay. Murphy on the coverage, made the tackle. 6-yard pickup for Jones.
Okay, let's take a look at Mike Jones. He's number 89. He's on the inside there and just dips to the outside. Murphy's on the coverage, and that's just almost an impossible pass to defend against. It's a short one, and what the receiver hopes for is a missed tackle and get a couple extra yards, and that's what he did on that, as Murphy missed the tackle. But that's the keynote of the Viking passing game with Tommy Kramer. Those short passes, outlet passes, he looks for the open man.
10 catches for Jones coming into the game. The 3-year man from Tennessee State with good speed. Give us to Darren Nelson, trying to get wide. Turns it up inside, and Nelson, they cut him off at the pass at about the 35-yard line, but a pickup of 4 for Darren Nelson. Lee and Tom Flynn reacting well. Came up to make the tackle. Mark Lee, number 22, and Flynn, number 41.
And a key block by Terry Tausch on that play to help swing him so that he could turn up the field. Darren Nelson, who ran outside, but they've run him a lot on the inside. He's not that big, but he said he loves to run on the inside. I tell you, if I was weighed what he would, I wouldn't want to run on the inside.
180-pounder, but he says, I like those opportunities, get that quick opening and scoot through before they even find me. At 94 yards rushing against the Rams last week. This is Ted Brown. Brown plows his way behind Tausch and Irwin and picks up 3, maybe 4 yards, depending on the spot. In Packer territory, these teams have met 10 times at County Stadium and have split evenly at 5-5. If you take that as an example of whether or not there's a home field advantage for Green Bay overall when they play in Milwaukee, that would not indicate that there is much you want. But that's just the series against the Vikes.
You mentioned 5-5 here. Overall, it's Minnesota 24 wins and Green Bay 22 throughout their entire series.
With one tie game. 3rd down, a long 3 for Minnesota in Green Bay territory. Kramer wants the pass. Good catch by Steve Jordan. And he had the linebacker Anderson hanging all over him. held on, but he is short of the first down. So Anderson did the job defensively. It'll leave 4th and about a yard.
Yes, that's tough coverage for John Anderson. He has to cover the tight end out of there, 83. And Jordan obviously didn't get quite deep enough for the first down, and that's the first thing they'll look at the films and say, why didn't you go another yard? But a lot of times there's a reason. So it's a 4th down and about a yard situation to go. They're still on the grass rather than the dirt section, and Jan Stenerud is in.
Stenerud, a former Packer, spent 3 seasons here after 13 years in Kansas City, starting his 2nd season with the Vikings. And the ball being spotted at the 38-yard line. Actually closer to the 37, and Stenerud with a 47-yard attempt hit the upright. Stenerud, he had the leg, he hit the right upright, and so the Green Bay Packers have held the Vikings following the interception by Turner in the open. Vikings in their 3-4 defense on first down as the Packers take over at their 30. We see Cincinnati in front of the Giants 7-0 first period. Play action pass. Dickey's got Lofton open. Lofton is dropped immediately, but he had plenty of room to make the catch, and it's a first down, Green Bay in Minnesota territory at the 46-yard line, a 23-yard gain.
Okay, James Lofton on the post pattern. He's got Willie Till covering, and look at Till goes way back, gives him plenty of room, then he just turns in and beats the zone. They had outside coverage deep, but not where Lofton turned in, and Dickey hit him right on the nose. James Lawson, who has caught more passes, or at least for more yardage than any Packer in history.
On first down, a quick count, Jesse Clark fights his way for about 3 yards. Good second effort getting away from Scott Studwell. And they'll spot it as a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6 for the Pack in Minnesota territory. Newton is back in the lineup. He was injured in the last series of plays, but is back out there on the nose for Minnesota.
I got a kick out of Jesse Clark yesterday. He said, this is no home game. He says, we have to get on the road. We had to ride a bus. He said, it's not like a real home game for us. He says, but I'm ready to play. He's been averaging 6 yards per carry. Jesse Clark. 329
yards rushing coming into the game. Good shot to Ivory. Eddie Lee Ivory, big hole out the left side, has a first down. Well, Lynn Dickey said the Vikings think that the Packers think that Mark Mullaney is the best defensive lineman on the Minnesota defense, but they ran at him that time. Let's see what happened on the play.
Okay, let's watch Ed West, 86, and Carl Swanke, 67. Do they take those Minnesota linebackers out? They just push them right out of the way as Ivory turns up the field and gets big yardage. Good blocking by the offensive line. Ed West was in there.
First down, Green Bay at the Minnesota 34-yard line in the I formation, first time today. Ivory, and a good defensive play by the Vikings. Slicing in was Chris Martin, the linebacker from the right side, number 57. Three-year man from Auburn, and it'll be a loss of a yard on the play. 2nd and 11. The ball spotted at the 35 of the Vikings. 4 new defenders come in for Minnesota. They'll have a 4-man front now, and an extra defensive back. Keith Millard and Elshire will be the defensive ends in the 4-man front. Millard was the #1 choice of Minnesota last year and opted to go to the USFL. They got him back, and he is fitting in very well. Throw set for the Packers on 2nd and 11. Dickey gets lots of time up the middle. It's complete to the tight end. Swarmed under by Browner and Studwell, but a gain of about 10 yards will leave 3rd and a yard for Green Bay. Hoffman making the catch. Number 82.
Well, anytime you get the ball near Kaufman, you're going to have a reception. He's got hands like glue, and give some credit to Dickey. He hung in there. There was a little pressure on him from the outside. He waited for Kaufman, who twisted and turned and then made that grab, and that ball got there, and Browner was all over him, but he hung on as the Packers have a pretty good drive going. And, of course, they gained, I think it was 512 yards against the Lions last week. Now, that's an offensive explosion.
Dickey, of course, playing with that sore thumb, injured hand last week in the Detroit game with a field goal try from 47 yards away. So the Packers will try to keep it going in scoring territory. This is Ivory, ran into a blocker, but has the first down. Good second effort by Eddie Lee Ivory. He ran into the tight end, Kaufman, blocking out on that right side. But Ivory picks up the first down, and Green Bay now They'll have a first down inside the 25 of Minnesota.
Okay, there you can see Paul Kaufman. He's number 82 as he's trying to string it out. Ivory runs into him, and he gets enough for the first down before Keith Nord came up to make the tackle.
Ivory with 19 yards on 4 carries. Len Dickey is 2 of 4 with his sore thumb. He missed 2 days of practice, worked out some Friday and yesterday. Said he was ready to go, but it is still swollen and sore. Play action. Intended for Lofton. Big play by Studwell. Lofton was open, but Studwell, anticipating that play, was there in the zone and almost had an intercept.
And the thing was that Lofton also was not looking. He wasn't expecting the pass set that quickly, but off the play action, he hesitates. He sees Dickey going for the pass. He goes back there. Had he been able to hang on to that ball, he could have gone right down the sideline. Scott Studwell out of the University of Illinois, and the thing that impresses me the most about him, besides being one of the leaders on defense, is that he broke Dick Butkus's tackle record at Illinois, and that tells me something.
2nd and 10 from the 23-yard line of Minnesota out of the pro set. Dickey gets some time, sideline to Lofton, hit immediately, but picks up 5. Number 39 on the hit was Carl Lee. It'll be 3rd down and 5, and again the Pack in another tense 3rd down situation. The ball spotted at the 18-yard line of Minnesota. Boris Gregg searching for consistency on the part of his Green Bay Packer team and working them pretty hard in practice. Produced a victory last week of mammoth proportions over Detroit, but I think he well knows that the Lions are not as good a football team as the Vikings, and if the Packers are going to be contenders in the NFC Central, they've got to show what they can do against a stronger team like the Vikings. Up the middle, it's complete and dropped by Kaufman. A dive effort by everybody for the loose ball. And it looks like it is going to be Vikings ball. So Kaufman made the catch, dropped the ball, and it is Joey Browner, number 47, who came up with it for Minnesota. Big defensive play by the Vikings. Let's see who made the hit on Kaufman.
Okay, and you can see Kaufman off the man in motion. He has to go down there and find the hole. Just goes across the middle, makes the grab, takes a couple of steps before he fumbles. So it is a fumble. Now you can see that a couple of guys dived for it. I think Best was one of the guys diving there, and it was Joey Browner that came up with it?
It was, and it was Browner who made the tackle and stripped the ball from Kaufman. Corner position of a year ago, and they think that they finally found a home for this talented athlete. First down for Minnesota from their own 12-yard line. Packers stacked that up. Charlie Martin wrapping up Darren Nelson, and there'd be little if any gain on the play.
Boy, did he break it up. It was a trap, and he just stood in there like a tall timber, and nothing moved.
There you see Charlie Martin, second-year man from Livingston College. Acquired as a free agent last year. He had played in the USFL and the Canadian League, and has turned out to be playing ahead of Johnny Humphrey, the number 2 pick last year, in the nose position. Kramer nearly slipped, but he got the pass off, complete to the tight end, Jordan. The ball comes loose again. Had it been whistled, dead. Looks like the Packers came up with the ball, but it looks like it's going to be a dead ball, and the Vikings will retain possession. Jordan was down at the 23-yard line. So 2 tight ends coughing up the football, but the Vikings get a break in this one.
Now you'll see Jordan is blocking, and he just comes out on a delay. It's a straight rush by the Packers, and here comes Jordan, 83, out of the middle. Now you have to judge, had he hit the turf before he fumbled the ball? That's the key, because he was hit by somebody. He's down, and then the ball squirts loose. It looked like a good call by the officials from our vantage point.
Yes, I would agree. They're measuring here for the first down, and they have it. As we see the end of that play again. Jerry Markbrett, our referee, has not had to throw a flag yet, or his staff has not. Brian Noble on the hit on Jordan that popped the ball loose, the rookie linebacker, number 91, but he was down. So the Vikes retain possession at their 23-yard line. First down, no score. Time winding down to the 22nd mark in the first period of play. Ted Brown in motion. Straight drop and a quick one out to the tight end. Jordan dropped the ball. He was open. The pass a little low, but he should have had it. Mind you, the Packers had it well covered. It would have been maybe a 3 or 4 yard gain. And 8 seconds on the clock. We'll have one more play before the end of the first period.
This may be one of the fastest quarters I've ever seen in football. It's gone by in a big hurry.
Elsewhere in the NFL, we have Philadelphia in front of St. Louis. 3-0. Houston leading Cleveland 3-0. And Tampa Bay in front of the Rams 7-0 on a James Wilder run in the first quarter. Brown trying to shake loose. Good second effort. Picked up about 3, depending on where they spot the ball, because he had been hit by a Packer. And the quarter winds down. It'll be 3rd and long when we return to the plays, and he's out there now. 3 wide receivers, Carter, Jones, and Lewis for the Vikings on 3rd down and 8. Out of the shotgun, Kramer has pressure from Johnson. Lobs it up the middle, and it's intercepted. Mark Murphy, number 37, for the Pack at the Minnesota 32-yard line. Under pressure from Johnson, Kramer lobbed that up there, and it was a free ball, and Murphy went and got it.
He was trying to hit Darren Nelson, number 20. Now, Kramer, this is an ill-advised throw because he really couldn't see him. He just saw 20. They're taking off, and he tried to lead him out there. He wasn't able to see down the field and see the safeties, and Murphy came in to make the interception for Green Bay. Bad play by Tommy Kramer. He was trying to avoid the sack, and as you can see, Green Bay has it deep in Minnesota territory.
Jesse Clark running hard, cut it back to the right side after starting to the left. Picked up close to 5 yards on the play. Graduate of Arkansas. And what an interesting and bright young man. A chance to talk with him yesterday. Son of a sharecropper in Boston, Arkansas, and made his way to the University of Arkansas on a football scholarship. He is a sociology major, working on his master's in communication, studying real estate. He's quite an entrepreneurial-minded young man.
Did you mention he was one of 13?
Yes.
One of 13 kids?
Yeah. 2nd and 6. What a young man. And this is Gary Ellis. Ellis trying to get the first down yardage. He'll be close. A stack of Vikings. Typical defensive pursuit the way the Vikings have played this season. Studwell led the charge with Rufus Best, but there were about 7 white-shirted Vikings around the ball. Did they stop him short of the first down?
There was a good block by the man we were talking about, Jesse Clark. That time he had to run into Doug Martin, and he got the block for him, so they were able to get a couple of extra yards.
4 Vikes go out. 4 substitutes defensively. Moore is in at center for the Packers, and the tight end Ed West joins Kaufman on his 3rd and short. About 3/4 of a yard is needed, and Dickey keeps the ball, and Dickey has the first down. Got to the 20-yard line, and I think the ball came loose from Ivory. Not sure what happened there, but Dickey certainly alertly went back, picked up the first down yardage.
You know, we may have a situation. Remember, he was telling us yesterday about his sore thumb. Sometimes when he hands off, it doesn't get, oh, no, well, it could have been his thumb. He just couldn't reach him. And he ad-libbed, and he got away from Mulaney and then just took off. And John Turner, number 27, comes up with the hit, and Dickey dipped under the hit. I'm sorry, that wasn't Turner. That was Teal.
Great effort by Lynn Dickey, as he just couldn't get the handoff to Ivory in time. Ad-libbed it back to the first down at the 20 of Minnesota. They give it to Ivory straight ahead. Good hole for Eddie Lee Ivory, and a good second effort drives him all the way to the 12-yard line. Dennis Johnson made the tackle. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for an NFL update.
Tim, here is the play that set up the Tampa Bay touchdown. It's a fake field goal, and Alan Risher runs it down inside the 5-yard line. And the Buccaneers lead the unbeaten Rams 7-0. Maybe the Bears will be the last one standing after all. Back to Tim.
All right, Brent. Buccaneers looking for their first victory of the season under Lehman Bennett. And they give us to Clark. Clark gets to about the 11-yard line, a gain of maybe a yard. It'll leave 3rd and about a half yard for the first down for the driving Green Bay Packers in Minnesota territory. Studwell and Newton made the tackle. On come Ivory and Blake Moore for the Packers. Moore coming in as the center in the shotgun situations, but we note here in this series that he has also come in as the center in short yardage, replacing Mark Cannon. David Howard has come in defensively for the Packers, and Elshire, they've got everybody stacked up. In motion is Clark will give it to Ivory, and Ivory has a first down inside the 5-yard line. Eddie Lee Ivory had 109 yards coming into this game, and he has been churning it out in this first half. Now 35 yards on 6 carries for Ivory. Newton and Nord on the tackle for the Vikings. First and goal from the 5.
And the Packers cross him up. Look at Jesse Clark, 33 outside, as they pitch to the outside, and Ivory turns up the field, but on that very short yardage, it was a case of Green Bay putting the fool on Minnesota. Went to the outside, took the chance with the pitch.
Mark Murphy's interception launching this drive by Green Bay. And they have first and goal here with 10:51 to play, first half, no score. Play action, and the give is off to the tight end West, and West on the end around. Number 86 is stopped just inside the 5. Joey Browner made the tackle. The Vikings were prepared for that play, which the Packers have shown before this season.
This time Minnesota was not fooled, especially Joey Browner. He's 47. As you can see, the fake into the inside. Here comes West from his tight end spot, and number 47, Joey Browner, says, "No, you don't. I got you." And he takes him down for the loss, which really changed the situation. That's the chance you take when you run a reverse or a funny play like that. You get a loss of yardage, and it changes your whole 4-down situation.
It'll be second down, and the pass out to Kaufman can't hold on. Might have been tipped en route. It looked like Elshire might have got a hand on the ball. Let's see if we can pick that up on the replay, but intended for Kaufman. It's incomplete and leaves third and goal. Joey Browner had the coverage. Let's see what happened on the play.
Yeah, I think that the ball was a little bit juggled there as Dickey put it out there, and it was slightly ticked.
Yeah,
slightly ticked by Elshire, and it went off course for him a little bit for Kaufman, and he couldn't grab the handle before he went out of bounds. So Elshire, it's seemingly a little thing, but it made a big difference. Got his hand up there and ticked it.
So it is third and goal, just outside the 5-yard line. Clark and Ellis are the running backs, and it's for Clark, touchdown. Jesse Clark, perfectly led by Lynn Dickey, and the Packers take the lead.
You hit it right. As you can see, Epps takes the coverage inside. Willie Till waits outside, and Clark just turned on the speed, and the key here was getting the ball up and over and leading him perfectly, and Till could do nothing about it. Jesse Clark with the touchdown. Green Bay draws first blood. Nice play, Jesse. And a pretty good pass by Lynn Dickey. You'd never know he had a sore thumb, would you?
Zorn is the holder. The recent acquisition from the Seattle Seahawks, former starter, of course, with Seattle for several years. And Al Del Greco with a point after. So Green Bay takes the lead, taking advantage of the turnover on the interception by Buster Rhymes. Is not deep for the Minnesota Vikings. He's not even here. The Vikings going with 44 men today. It'll be Rufus Best, and it hit his foot. He must have lost it in the sun. Alert play by the Vikings to recover the ball, but they are at the 6-yard line. Let's see who came back to get the ball. I believe it was Alan Rice, number 36, yes. And I don't know whether he lost it in the sun or what. He thought the ball was going to bounce into the end zone. It wound up hitting him on the foot.
I think he lost it in the sun, because if you look up in that direction there where the sun is, he must have lost it, because he wouldn't do that poorly if he hadn't lost the ball in the sun, because it was real wicked when I was down there before the game, so it must still be kind of bad in that corner. But here you can see that Rice comes in to save the Vikings, but they do have poor field position.
Where are you, Buster? Buster's back in Minnesota today, having spent a couple of days in Oklahoma during the week, and Bud Grant says we'll deal with that matter on Monday, and elected to go with 44 today. On first down, Ted Brown picks up maybe a yard at the most, as the Packers really did a job in the middle there with Donnie Humphrey, number 79, leading the charge. Well, don't forget, most of you are going to be seeing the big doubleheader game today on CBS, the champion San Francisco 49ers against the unbeaten Chicago Bears.
And the Bears are looking very tough these days. With the Rams having problems with Tampa Bay, the Bears may be the only undefeated team going into that game.
Bears looking for a little revenge.
Right.
Championship game loss, and they were shut out last season. They've got some guys hurting today, and the 49ers coming out with a big win over Atlanta. On second down, Kramer hits Brown, incomplete. Couldn't hold on. Good coverage on him by Mark Lee, number 22. And had he caught the ball, he had nowhere to go. So it is third down. The Packers aroused defensively, trying to get the ball back. Washington now in front of the Lions 10-3, as Detroit had taken the 3-0 lead in that game. But Mark Mosley's field goal and a John Riggins touchdown has the Skins in front. Buffalo and New England scoreless in the second period. And Pittsburgh in front of Dallas 3-0 on a field goal.
Big play.
Third down and 9. 3 wide receivers. Shotgun formation for Kramer. A high snap. And it's fielded by Nelson. Nelson gets it up over the 5 and gets near the 10-yard line. All kinds of bad things happening for the Vikings in this series. They will have to punt. Charlie Martin and Mark Murphy combined to pull down Nelson, and Nelson made a good play just to advance it up as far as the line of scrimmage.
That very easily could have been a safety because it was up and over. Nelson is actually almost in the end zone right there. He is in the end zone, and he did some good running just to get out of trouble there. And finally, a host of Packers bring him down, but the Vikings are going to have to punt from the end zone.
Dennis Swilley, the snapper, got that one up too high for Kramer. Coleman will punt from the end zone. The deep man is Tom Flynn for the Packers, waiting for it near midfield. Good kick by Coleman. A dandy back to the 42-yard line of Green Bay. Good coverage by the Vikings. First man to hit him was number 99, David Howard, the reserve linebacker. But the Packers have the football at the 48-yard line of Green Bay. Green Bay, after a 49-yard punt by Coleman, certainly did his job getting it out of the end zone, but the Packers with good field position at their own 48. They lead 7-0, 8:05 to play first half. Lynn Dickey brings up the pack. Out to the left from Lofton and Epps. He's got a scurry to death, that pair out on the same side. The reverse for Lofton. It's cut off and a loss on the play. Martin made the tackle. Doug Martin, number 79, just came barreling up the middle and was waiting for Lofton. That'll be a big loss back to the 40-yard line of Green Bay. A loss of 9.
And this is what a wide receiver, when he's going an end around, he doesn't want to see Martin staring you in the face here, as a handoff from Jesse Clark. And here comes Martin for the tackle. No chance for James Lofton. He says, let's can that play. Let's try some passes down the field.
I would think he's got to be feeling that way right now. So it is second and a long 18. In motion behind the ball is the tight end West. Dickey starts to roll a little and runs out of time. He is sacked. And it was number 75, Keith Millard from Washington State in the USFL, who made the tackle on him. Another loss. Up 7 on this one.
Boy, he went right over Carl Swanke. Swanke, 67, putting the block on Millard. Millard, who just always has it. He just persists and persists and persists, and Dickey just goes right over the blocker and makes the hit on Lynn Dickey.
Boy, that's a good-looking play, isn't it? There's Keith Millard. 6'6", 260-pounder.
He has 5 sacks now. That's pretty good.
It's third down and 25 yards to go. Blake Moore comes in to snap in the shotgun for the Packers. Dickey eludes the first rush. Complete. But well short of the first down. The tight end Kaufman, number 82, got to his own 45-yard line, where Studwell and Best combined to stop him. And it'll leave a fourth down and 13 after the 11-yard gain. So the Vikings, after digging themselves out of that hole on Coleman's fine punt, come up well defensively here, and they'll get the ball back. Joe Prokop's first punt of the afternoon for Green Bay.
He has a tendency sometimes to line drive him, which can be dangerous.
He bobbled the snap, and the left footer nails it. It comes down at the 12-yard line. Darren Nelson hoping it goes over the goal line, and it just did. Nelson let it go, thinking that he had the right bounce on the ball, but it nearly stopped at the goal line.
He thought he was playing in Minnesota where they have that artificial surface.
It all starts at 12:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. First down from the 20-yard line on the touchback. The Vikings trailing 7-0 and not generated any offense. The missed field goal by Stenerud, the closest they've come. Kramer with time, and he hits the tight end Jordan. He lost the ball. Recovered by the Vikings. And Steve Jordan got a case of the dropsies here this afternoon. Leo Lewis, the wide receiver, number 87, recovered the football. First down on the play by the Vikings.
Okay, you'll see Jordan come down the field, and what happened during this play was that Kramer had some problems looking for him. See the linebackers in front of him? The official gets in the way. He's waiting for Jordan to clear, and then finally hits him through there, and this is the second time that Jordan has fumbled. He had the ball. Oh, he was trying to lateral. He tried to lateral to Leo Lewis, that time on his way down.
And it was Mike Douglas who had the hit on Jordan. So it is first down, Minnesota. Quick pass to Jordan in the flat. He shakes off a tackler, and Jordan has another first down for the Vikings out to their 48-yard line, where Tom Flynn, number 41, made the tackle for Green Bay.
This was a case where Mark Murphy, number 37, had to come over on the coverage, and Jordan got a couple of steps right away because the pass came so quickly, and Murphy's going to miss the tackle here. Nice cutback by Jordan. He goes down the field and finally knocked down by Flynn, but the Vikings are now on the move with those medium-range passes that Tommy Kramer is so good at.
Well, their field position hasn't been very good. They've been starting from their end of the field most of this first half. Now they're up where they can operate a little. Nelson slips and picks up about 3 over the 50 into Green Bay territory. Kramer is 6 of 9 passing and 62 yards at this point. Now for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Tim. Now it's the Los Angeles Rams who are up by 7 after a turnover. They come right back down, and it's a great running back, Eric Dickerson, who steps in for their second touchdown, and they lead Tampa 14-7. Back to Tim.
39 remaining in the first half of that game, and 4:09 remaining here at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Kramer to throw on second down. Out in the flat again to Jordan. Dropped the ball. So the graduate from Brown is having some problems here this afternoon. Third down, number 83, and they consider him the most improved player. In fact, that was Tommy Kramer's assessment, Johnny, when he asked him that yesterday. He said he's the guy who's really come on since joining the team out of Brown 4 years ago.
And he's getting a lot of action today. They usually spread the passes around a little more. We haven't seen too much of Anthony Carter. I guess his hamstring is bothering him a little bit.
He's in the game now. We note we'll be watching for him with Lewis and Jones, 3 wide receivers on third down. Jordan was the club's leading receiver with 21 coming into this game. Screen pass for Darren Nelson. He gets the block. He's got running room and has a first down, chased out by Anderson, but gets to the 40-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. And the block came from the center, Dennis Swilly, to spring him down the sideline.
And it was Carl Swanke who came up with the key block on Robert Brown. As you can see, the screen sets up. Nelson just goes out in the flat. Now Brown is chasing, and here comes Swanke peeling back, 67. He gets the key block as Nelson turns up the field and goes. Swilly, I'm sorry. That was Swilly.
They both start with Swilly Swanke.
Swilly Swanke, okay.
And they're the same number.
Yeah.
An easy mistake. I'm surprised I haven't made it yet.
First, give yourself a chance.
There's Darren Nelson breaking up the middle. Gets to the 30-yard line. Close to another Vikings first down. A gain of 9. Let's see where they spot the ball. It's going to be just short, it would appear, from here, because the ball is right on the 30-yard line and the marker just beyond. 3:37 remaining first half with the Vikings threatening to tie.
As you saw Nelson go right up the middle, and he does like to run up the middle.
Tom Flynn on the tackle for the Pack. Brown and Nelson. We haven't seen Alfred Anderson in action yet, carrying the ball for Minnesota today. Out of the slot comes Mike Jones, number 89, in motion. This is Brown trying to get wide. Good defensive reaction by the Packers. Mike Douglas, number 53, forced him inside and then got in on the tackle with Ezra Johnson, number 90. No gain on the play. In fact, it'll be a loss of about the length of a football.
Yeah, good play by Michael Douglas. That time he got away from Nelson, who was blocking instead of running that time, and made a heck of a play. So we have a third down situation with about a yard to go.
Yes, a little less than that. Martin comes in defensively. The big man on the nose, number 94. Charlie Martin. Mark McDonald comes in, the rookie, to add an extra blocker on 3rd and short. And they give it to Ted Brown. And Brown is stacked up, and he is stopped short of the first down. And a roused Packer defense, it would appear, has made another big play. Tom Flynn, the safety, came diving in. Number 41.
Randy Scott was there. Everybody was there. That's what you call gang tackling.
We're going to measure, but it would appear from our view here on the near sideline of the sticks that he is short. So it'll bring up a 4th and short situation for the Vikings with 2:26 on the clock at the Green Bay 30-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like it's about 3 or 4 inches short.
Now the Vikings look over to Bud Grant. Bud Grant has not sent out Stenerud yet.
And here's the play, and you can see there were a whole bunch of Packers in on the tackle. You've got to give everybody about an 1/8 of a tackle. They were all there. Scott and Johnson.
Vikings will go for it, and Forrest Gregg is saying, hey, you gave them too much. The ball should have been on the other side of the 30. He's got a point.
They've got too many men on the field.
That's where they placed it. They've got first down yardage. The Packers had an extra man. Brown this time gets the first down. Ted Brown, number 23. Forrest Gregg had a point there. He was indicating to the officials that when they replaced the ball, they advanced it by about, well, I would say at least the length of a ball and maybe a little more. So it shortened up the run for Brown, but Brown had plenty anyway.
He sure calmed down in a hurry, didn't he? Now he seems so relaxed. He's going to worry about the next situation. Forrest Gregg says his team is taking him on a roller coaster.
Apparently is all right. So, with 2 minutes to play, the ball in Green Bay territory at the 29-yard line. Jones in motion back toward the ball. Play action. Kramer has lots of time. Good fake. And he throws it to the short man, Brown, on the backfield. Brown shakes off 2 tackles and barrels his way inside the 15 to the 13-yard line of the Packers, and a first down, Minnesota. Tim Lewis put the stop on him, number 26.
And what a play by Tommy Kramer, because Brown must have been his 4th choice as a receiver. He's looking downfield trying to find Lewis or somebody else open. He can't find anybody, and Brown is the safety valve. He just checked out of the backfield, and then he puts on a couple of nifty moves here. A little dipsy-do, and John Anderson is out of it, and then Brown just takes off down the field and makes a big gain out of a little teeny pass.
First down at the 14-yard line of Green Bay. 1:14 to play first half. For the corner. Open is Jones, touchdown. Mike Jones, number 89. And the same way the Packers scored with that corner pass, leading him perfectly, and a nice turnaround by Jones reacting to the ball. A 14-yard touchdown. Minnesota on the scoreboard.
He certainly did a good job as he faked to the inside. Watch him look to the ball the inside and fake Mark Lee. And Mark Lee turned, and then he just dipped back out to the outside. Jones did for the nice reception. The pass was right on the dime. One-on-one out there, and that's what any wide receiver will take when he can get it.
It'll be Jan Stenerud for the point after try. Coleman will hold with 1:09 to play here in the first half. The Vikings finally get something on the scoreboard. And Stenerud, the former Packer, nails it through here at Milwaukee's County Stadium, and we have a tie football. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at County Stadium, where the Vikings have tied things up. Minnie Osta there has gone 80 yards in 80 yards to tie things up with 6 passes and 5 runs. A nifty drive by the Vikings. And we've got a tie football game at 7. And if they close this out with 1:09 remaining without a penalty in this final 1:09, it's going to be a rare occurrence. Art McNally from the league office supervisor of officials is here and tells us he can't remember the last time that happened, so it is a rare occurrence. Still got 1:09 to go. Gary Ellis for the Packers is tripped up on a nice flying tackle that got over the 20 to the 25-yard line, and it was number 30 Isaac Holt who made the tackle on him. But the Pack will start from their 24-yard line with 1:05 to try and take the lead again, a 19-yard return.
Well, we'll get to see the Packers practice their 2-minute offense, or we should cut it down to a 1-minute offense.
1:05, and Blake Moore will be the center to snap on the shotgun for Dickey. 3 receivers, and they give it inside to Ivory. A big hole. Eddie Lee Ivory still going all the way out to the 44-yard line. Beautiful play by the Packers. Vikings reading pass, as you would expect. Studwell made the tackle, a 20-yard pickup, 47 seconds.
Just an inside forward handoff. Ron Hallstrom came across and made a nice block there to open the hole, as we see the next play.
Was knocked down on the play by Mullaney. Mark Mullaney, big 6'6" tackle, reached up and batted away the pass intended up the middle by Lynn Dickey. That stops the clock. 41 seconds remaining. At their 44-yard line. 2nd and 10, Green Bay. Tie football game. Dickey to Jesse Clark opened the scoring in the 2nd period. And Kramer to Jones tied it up. Out of the shotgun, Dickey sidesteps the rush and hits Lofton. He's hit immediately after a gain of only about 3. Joey Browner, number 47, put a pretty good blick on him. Timeout called by the Packers with 33 seconds remaining. The 2nd timeout taken by the Packers. They took one earlier, and we have our first flag down, I believe. Is there a flag or not?
No, I don't see it, but, you know, that's
3rd and 8.
3rd down, 9 yards to go. 5 defensive backs in for the Vikings.
4-man defensive front. 4 rushmen.
Dickey from the shotgun, and he was hurried, and there's the first flag. The pass intended for Clark did not arrive, as the pressure from Doug Martin forced Dickey to unload a little earlier than he wanted to, and a flag is down with 29 seconds to play in the first half. Was there a hold back there?
Well, we came close to going a whole half without a penalty. Very close.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 65. Offense. Penalty decline. 4th down.
Ron Hallstrom, number 65. Illegal use of the hands.
How does that go? If it declined, that means we still haven't had a penalty, right?
Well, that's an interesting technical point. I'd say that the penalty was called and there was an infraction. So
yeah, but no
we just want to get through this half without a penalty and have a little history. That's all, if it is indeed history. Nonetheless, the Vikings decline, and it'll be Prokop, the left footer, angling toward the sideline, and the ball goes out at the 30-yard line of Minnesota. And they'll have at least a couple of pass plays here with 23 seconds left. Just a 24-yard punt by Prokop.
The loser of this game would be in real bad shape.
3 wide receivers for the Vikings. 7-7 the score. Kramer out of the shotgun, gets time, deep sideline, diving catch by Leo Lewis, and a dandy to midfield. Number 87, Leo Lewis. First down at the midfield stripe. 17 seconds on the clock.
On the 50-yard line.
And you could see the timing on that. The precision was fantastic, and Lewis came up with a fine catch there. That pass was halfway there before he even made his cut. That's called precision passing, and Kramer put it right on the dime, and Lewis did the rest.
Another Lewis, no relation. Tim Lewis had the coverage. 30-man from Pittsburgh. High snap taken by Kramer. Kramer goes back to the same area, and this one is incomplete. Intended again for Lewis. Leaves 12 seconds on the clock with 2nd down.
And let's give credit to Tim Lewis. That time he got the best of the situation there. Good coverage on Leo. So they're even 1-on-1.
Kramer 10 of 15 now, 119 yards, and told us yesterday that he likes to get started throwing the ball.
The Minnesota Vikings, they lost it for a number of reasons last year towards the end of the season.
2nd down out of the shotgun. 12 seconds on the clock. Vikes have got their plan, but they're not going to get to execute it. It was Alfonso Carricker, broken hand and all, sacking Kramer back at the 45-yard line of Minnesota. Carricker, the 2nd-year man from Florida State. He was their number 1 choice a year ago.
Timeout. 3
Brace on as much, gives him a little bit more mobility. The one he had on last year was so big and bulky.
3 wide receivers sail down the right side. The sideline pass there to Jones, number 89. And Tom Flynn got a hand on it for the Packers, number 41. And 1 second remains, so they'll get one more attempt to chuck it downfield and hope something good happens. 7-7 ball game on a beautiful afternoon at Milwaukee's County Stadium. A little bit of a breeze coming up here in the second period. The temperature's still really quite warm. You can see Bud Grant, the Iceman over there, is in his short sleeves.
Anthony Carter went out.
Darren Nelson is one of the wide receivers. And he just throws it up there, and let's see who gets it. Well, the Packers had the best opportunity, but it is incomplete. And that'll end the first half here. It was Mike McLeod who had a chance at the intercept and thrown at it anyway. So that's it here.
That sun still is a problem. The ball is going right to that corner. Let's see if he sees it.
He's got it. At the 11-yard line, Rufus Bess. Bess shakes loose. Flag is down, but Bess gets all the way out to midfield to the 49-yard line. A flag on the play. The kicker, Al Del Greco, had to push him out. Good burst of speed by Bess and a 39-yard return. And let's see who picks up the penalty.
I don't think we're going to get one declined this time.
Holding number 99.
They'll take the penalty.
First down.
David Howard, reserve linebacker, number 99, rookie from Cal State Long Beach, is the culprit, and it'll be spotted back at the 22-yard line. So a good return by Bess, negated somewhat. Bess has been quite a story for the Vikings as a cornerback who was picked up on waivers from Buffalo and has really done a job. Well, you can see in that first down situation in the first quarter, neither team able to really generate a lot on first down. In the second period, the Vikings got it going somewhat on first down, wound up getting a touchdown. Nelson and Brown are the running backs. Ted Brown goes in motion. On first down, Kramer to throw. It's complete. The tight end, Jordan, and he has it out near the 30-yard line for a gain of maybe 7 on the play. Mark Murphy, the strong safety, number 37, and we'll call it an 8-yard gain. 2nd and 2 for Minnesota, just inside their own 30-yard line. 7-7 the score. We are just underway in the second half in Milwaukee.
On the 30-yard line, 2nd and 2.
Jordan has caught 5 for 49 yards. He's also had a drop or two and a near fumble loss. And he has been the main receiver for the Vikings through the first part of this season. Darren Nelson, the ball carrier, has the first down for the Vikings. Out to the 35-yard line. Murphy and John Anderson, the linebacker, number 59, made the tackle. So the Vikings advance out where they can breathe a little from their 35. Opening offensive series in the second half of play.
And Tommy Kramer, healthy. He has missed 20 games over the last 2 years.
Brown in motion again, and a quick pass in the flat to Mike Jones, dropped immediately. Good coverage on the play by Mark Lee, number 22, as the Vikings had the flow going out to the left and threw it quickly out into the right flat. But Lee was doing business at home and made the stop.
And he had to, because he was out there all alone on Jones. It was a one-on-one situation. No safeties around. If Jones breaks this tackle, he goes for a touchdown, as Lee kind of stumbled and slipped, but he makes the tackle one-on-one and keeps it to a medium gain, 5 yards.
2nd and 5. Slot formation right. Now Jordan sets up on the wing right and goes in motion. Vikings show a lot of motion out of all formations. And the pass intended for Jordan, but the coverage by the rookie Brian Noble, number 91, prevented Jordan from getting loose, and Kramer threw it over his head. Brian Noble, a number 4 pick, is a 6'4", 250-pounder at linebacker. And yesterday at the Packers practice, we were watching him and the other linebackers working on that Vikings motion. And here's a rookie just seeing a lot of this stuff for the first time. And in that particular play, he knew exactly what he was supposed to do. He was on the case.
And he was one of the players that was out there testing the dirt and the turf, and he put the long spikes on. He said, I don't want to lose traction.
Minnesota 2 of 7 today on third down. Let's see what they do out of the shotgun here. Just got it away, intended for number 81, Anthony Carter. The first pass thrown at him today, but it is incomplete as the pressure arrived just as Kramer unloaded the ball. Charlie Martin, number 94, leading the charge. Mark Lee had the pass coverage, number 22. So again, the Packers hold, and this has really been the key so far for them today. They have been very good on third down, as those numbers we showed you would indicate. And once more, they stop the Vikings. Coleman into punt. Flynn is the deep man inside the 20 of Green Bay. Long count by the Vikings. Low snap fielded by Coleman. Good kick by Greg Coleman. Flynn at the 15 made the catch, gets away from the initial tackler and another, but he had stepped out of bounds evidently at about the 12-yard line. 47-yard punt by Coleman, and credit to him, Johnny, because he had to field the snap and he was still very much in control.
Yes, the snap hit the ground before it got to him, which makes him a live game. They don't have to worry about roughing the punter or anything like this. And then Tom Flynn, back on the reception, didn't try and...
Lynn Dickey brings out the Packers, a four-man front on first down for Minnesota. In motion, the tight end West. The pitch out to Ivory. Ivory tries to cut it back. The Vikings shut him down behind the line of scrimmage. So all of those Vikings defenders on the front stayed right at home as he started left and came back. They were waiting for him. Dolman, the rookie, made the tackle. Washington in front of the Lions 17-3 at halftime. Are the Redskins back, or are the Lions maybe...
They might have been a little bit overrated.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Tampa Bay 20-14 over the Rams at halftime. They're not playing like an 0-5 team. Tampa Bay has a better team than the record indicates, and you saw Cincinnati there with the New York Giants.
Yeah, doing a job on the Giants so far. This is Jesse Clark. Clark on 2nd and 12 got back over the original line of scrimmage, but not by much. And Philadelphia leading St. Louis 13-0. We assume Jaworski continues at quarterback for the Eagles. Buffalo leading New England 3-0 at halftime.
That's a real barn burner. And Houston 6-0 over Cleveland in the third quarter.
And we do see that Jaworski is the quarterback for Philadelphia today, and has just thrown a touchdown pass to John Spagnola for that 13-0 lead over the Cardinals.
Shotgun.
Third down and 8 out of the shotgun. Dickey at his 5-yard line, eludes the pressure and complete to Clark, who took the hit and held on. It was Rufus Best, number 21, who got a good shot on him and managed to stop him short of the first down yardage. Good effort by Clark, but the Packers will have to punt.
Well, you know, Clark is a load, about 235 pounds out of there, and you're going to see Rufus Best come and make the contact, and he doesn't hold anything back, and he really jolted him, knocked him down. The Packers will be forced to punt.
Darren Nelson awaiting the punt from Prokop, and the left footer really nails this one. A big punt, backs up Nelson all the way to the 25-yard line of Minnesota, and he is dropped at the 27. And it was number 42, Gary Ellerson, the rookie running back, making the tackle for Green Bay. We'll be back to follow on our doubleheader action this afternoon. First down, Vikings from their own 27-yard line. Play action. Kramer has room, and he's going to run it. Good coverage downfield, and Kramer took it out of bounds. Picked up about 2. He says, I'm not a runner. That was an interesting discussion, asking him whether he considered himself a scrambler like other guys. Obvious comparison being the man who preceded him, Franz Arcandon. And he was quick to say, no, I'm not a scrambler. I am not a runner.
No, he never takes claim for that, but I'll tell you, he is very adept at moving around in the pocket, forward or backwards, and finding the little slither that he can maybe get the pass off. That time one of his backs didn't get out. He was looking for somebody in the flat, and they weren't there, so he had to run.
I think you described it real well, though. He has such a great feel back there that he's hard to catch. He doesn't have to have that great speed. He's just got that sense when he's in trouble. Here he is in the pocket now. Gets the ball off, and high, and off the hands of the intended receiver, Anthony Carter. They'll make it Leo Lewis, number 87. And Lewis couldn't bring it down. The ball tipped off his hands and over the hands of the Packers defenders. Ezra Johnson led the charge on Kramer in the pocket.
Ezra Johnson is number 90, and you can see the big block there. Curtis Rousey gets around to the outside of him and comes in from the backside, and Kramer just barely got the ball off. Ezra Johnson, who leads the Packers with 5 quarterback sacks this season, and of course, he's one of the good ones.
3rd down and 9, and again, the Vikings have had problems here, and they go to Ted Brown on the run. And they shut off. John Anderson played off the block beautifully, made the tackle, and got help from the cornerback, Tim Lewis. So again, if there's one impressive aspect of this game today, it has been the Packers' defense, especially on 3rd down.
Yes, and it was John Anderson was the key. Now watch Brent Boyd. He's 62. He's going to be out in front. He's going to come to 59 right there. There's Anderson playing off that block, and he forces Brown wide, gets in on the tackle, then gets some help, and the Packer defense, as you said, has played very well today.
So Coleman stands at his 15-yard line. Tom Flynn is the deep man for Green Bay at the Packers' 30-yard line. Coleman, good punt. Backs up Flynn to the 26. And Flynn dropped at about the 33-yard line by David Howard again, having a good day on the special teams for Minnesota. Number 99, a 45-yard punt. Michigan, number 1, Iowa. Iowa beat Wisconsin yesterday. And Michigan is beat up on Michigan State. Big games next week.
Oh, blitz
on 1st down. Dickey for Kaufman can hold on. Threw it inside him. The coverage from the linebacker, Dennis Johnson. And Kaufman did not hold on to the ball.
Watch the linebackers for Minnesota at the last second there. They were almost offside. They put the blitz on, but the Packer offensive line jammed up the blitz pretty well to allow Dickey to get the pass off. It was a little off target, but they did pick up the blitz fairly well because Minnesota came all out. Minnesota doesn't blitz as much as a lot of teams.
2nd and 10. Dickey 8 of 15. Sideline complete to Lofton, and Lofton has a 1st down. Green Bay at the 48-yard line of the Pack. 15 yards on the play. Carl Lee, number 39, on the coverage, made the tackle.
Okay, there it is, one-on-one as Lofton just turns up the field and it just dips to the outside. You got to give him a little bit of room because he's got great speed, and as long as the timing was there, there's not much a defensive back can do unless he wants to take a chance and come in tight on him. And you can't come in tight and try and run step for step with James Lofton.
Carl Lee working in Rufus' best spot over on the left corner. 1st down, Green Bay. The pitch to Ivory. Ivory takes it straight upfield and has about 9 yards on the play. Eddie Lee Ivory. Keith Nord, the safety, number 49, made the tackle. Joey Brown ran on it as well. Keith Nord, but a story for the Vikings when you consider that both in 83 and 84 he spent most of the seasons on injured reserve, was a free agent coming out in 1979. Not a huge college reputation from tiny St. Cloud State in Minnesota, and yet what a comeback he's made. But Grant has him as a starter.
Let's see what they do on 2nd and short.
2nd and a yard. Green Bay. Ellis has the 1st down and then some. Dennis Johnson rides herd on him, but he got to the 40-yard line for a gain of 3 and a 1st down, Green Bay. So the Packers now in Vikings territory inside the 40.
Okay, you can just see here straight ahead blocking, and it was just good vision by Ellis as he got through the hole and dipped back to the right because he saw that the defensive line was down. They had been blocked down, and so there's a runner that's keeping his eyes open when he runs. So the Packers have a nice little drive going here.
1st down, out of the throw set, Ivory and Clark. Play action pass. Dickey under pressure is dropped. Martin, number 79, got the tackle on Lynn Dickey, and the sack drops him back to the 47-yard line of the Vikings.
And it was Martin beating Greg Cooks. You can see to the outside. He comes back from the outside, the left side there. He beats 68, and down he goes.
And Chris Martin at the least, he's lived up to his billing. It is 2nd down and 17. In motion, Philip Epps. They haven't been able to get it to him yet. And the pass up the middle for West is incomplete. Ed West dropped the ball right there. We've had a number of drops by the tight ends today.
Well,
most particularly.
That's because on that kind of a pass, he reached his hands out to get the ball when he could have let the ball come into his chest or his stomach. And you have to kind of remember your fundamentals sometimes. Now watch him reach his hands out, whereas he could have kind of just shifted his body over there and catch the ball with your chest and your body. Whenever you can use your body to help you, do it. The only time you drop passes usually is when you stick your hands out. Only use your hands if you have to.
So the Packers go to the shotgun. Blake Moore in to snap it to Dickey's. Under pressure and dropped again. And it was Mark Mullaney with the sack, as the Vikings had 4 rushers in there, plus the linebacker Studwell, and Mullaney came up with a sack.
And you can see Mullaney is number 77. He goes right through the middle, uses that old hand snap, and just gets right through. Dickey had no chance to get the pass out. Mark Mullaney.
So the Packers went backwards on this series. They're back at their own 45-yard line. The 3rd sack of the afternoon for Minnesota, which came into the game with only 9 in the first 5 games of the season. Prokop into punt, standing at his own 30. The rookie left guard gets a beauty away. The ball hits at the 5 and bounces upfield, downed by Amasi Cade, number 24, inside the 10-yard line. And a big punt by Prokop for the Pack. 7, both touchdowns scored in the second period. And the punt by Prokop bouncing back upfield, working for the Packers, leaves Minnesota first down at their own 7-yard line. 2 tight ends are in, Kaufman, Jordan, and Malarkey for the Vikings. And in motion is Jordan, and they give us to Ted Brown. Brown gets out to about the 10-yard line for pickup of 3. And the rookie Brian Noble, number 91, made the first contact. And a gain of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Vikings. Out goes Malarkey. And Ted Brown, Darren Nelson in the lineup here on what would appear to be the passing down.
And the Packers,
wide receivers.
Packers making a bunch of substitutions on defense.
Yeah, they saw all those receivers in there and got some extra defensive backs in. The pitch out is to Nelson. Darren Nelson running off tackle, got out to the 15-yard line. It'll leave 3rd and about 3 for the Vikings. Green Bay last week had such good success against the Lions, holding them to 56 yards rushing all day, and until that play, the Vikings had only 35. So again, that Packers defense has really been doing the job, and here comes yet another 3rd down situation where they have excelled so far today. 3rd and 3. 3 wide receivers. 3 receivers out to the right. Kramer trying to find one at the sideline. Complete to Jones. Does he have the first down? It'll be close. Mike Jones, number 89. And yes, he does. First down, Vikings. Gary Hayes, one of the extra backs in the secondary, number 27, had the coverage.
Okay, he had really 2 receivers inside as he kind of dips out here to the right of the pocket, waits for Jones to head towards the sidelines, and actually brings him back, and he almost didn't get the first down. But you can see the 2 receivers in Kramer's line of sight, and he chose the short one and just barely got the first down.
So the Vikings, having to work from their own 7 after the good punt by Prokop, have a little bit of breathing room. Brown in motion out of the backfield. Quick pass to Jones behind him. Not a good throw by Kramer, and he's unhappy with himself on that one. 2nd and 10, Minnesota.
2nd and 10.
He is 13 of 24, but for not very much yardage. He has completed 57% of his passes so far this year. Kramer has.
They've not thrown the ball deep very much at all so far this season, and of course with Anthony Carter joining Jones and Lewis with speed, almost everybody expecting them to go downfield, but they have not done that today, and not been able to get the ball to Carter at all. 2nd and 10. He gets time up the middle. Incomplete for Jones, in and out of his hands. Mike Jones flat out dropped the football.
I think he was worried about Murphy a little bit. Number 37 was staring him in the face, and he might have taken his eyes off the ball, preparing for the hit, as you're going to see him wide open as he beat the zone right down the middle. You're going to get the vantage point of what Kramer has, and you'll see 37 will be to the right of your screen, coming right at him. He should show into the picture right about there, and he was bearing down on him, and he may have just taken his eyes off the ball. You got to catch it first, right?
Alfonso Carricker comes in to make a 4-man front for Green Bay. 3 wide receivers. Shotgun, Minnesota. Intended for Lewis, intercepted, and the ball comes loose. Mark Lee had the ball but could not hold on. Lewis gets credit for breaking up the intercept. The pass under pressure, Kramer simply didn't make a real good pass. Lewis had no chance to catch it. And once again, the Packers come up big on 3rd down. And so Coleman comes in, and he'll be standing inside the 5 for the punt.
It has not been one of Tommy Kramer's better days so far. That pass was very soft, kind of a floater, and only one of a couple of guys could have intercepted that one.
Packers with 2 deep men. Flynn back at the 35, and Murphy as an up man. Coleman from the 10-yard line. Fair catch signal by Flynn. He collided with one of his own players, and the ball bounces upfield to the 48-yard line. So they got a Packer bounce on the play. 35-yard punt by Coleman.
There's something happening there. There's a big conversation going on as to...
Kramer, I think, is saying a Packer touched the football, but I don't know that that happened based on my view of it from here. Kramer, who is a real team leader in getting at the officials for the Vikings, is out there now trying to convince them that it touched a Packer. Now there's a discussion between Mark Bright and his staff. I think that's what Kramer's saying. The fair catch was signaled by Flynn. However, he collided with a Packer player and had no opportunity to catch the ball. And let's see where they mark it. They're going to mark it up where they originally did.
I know one thing that, let's check it
There
here.
was no touching by the receivers. Receivers ball, 1st down.
Well, that's the way we saw it. Kramer, who was closer to the play down on the Packer, on the Minnesota sideline, thought otherwise.
Watch Flynn really take it. He's 41. He's the receiver, and he gets blocked by. Is that
the block by his own guy?
Yeah, it looks like Tim Lewis maybe.
All right, 1st down. Green Bay from their own 47-yard line. The motion behind the ball, Ivory. The pass up the middle to Lofton. Lofton has a 1st down and gets to the 36-yard line. 16-yard gain, and the Packers threatening again. Fred McNeil made the tackle, and we remind you there is lots more football coming. The big one, San Francisco 49ers, the champs at home against the unbeaten Bears. In the rematch of last year's championship game, Bears, having upset Washington, were beaten and shut out by San Francisco. Look at this. The Buccaneers continue to lead the Rams, the unbeaten Los Angeles Rams, in Tampa Bay in the 3rd period. Clark for the Pack picks up 4 on 1st down over the 35 to the 34-yard line. Joey Browner on the tackle.
Jesse Clark, of course, caught that touchdown pass, but he really hasn't broken loose on the ground yet today. The way he's had some nice runs so far this season. They seem to be developing a real good heavy-duty back, can get some yardage, and Clark has been scratched and clawed for a lot of yards this year on individual effort, plus some good blocking along the way, but he's going to be a really good one.
6 defensive backs in on 2nd and 9. Out of the shotgun, they give inside to Ivory. Ivory's got running room. Inside the 15. Good play by the Packers, well executed by Dickey, who pumped the show pass and handed off inside to Ivory, a 21-yard gain, and the Packers are on the doorstep.
And watch Jesse Clark. He's 33. He's at the right of your screen. Now he delays 2. Ivory gets the pass, and 33 comes through to block Keith Nord, 49, to knock him down, and then Ivory plays off that block and then dips to the outside. An excellent performance by the Green Bay Packers on that play, and they're out deep in Viking territory. Jesse Clark can block as well as run.
79 yards on the day for Ivory on 10 carries. First down, Green Bay. The crowd coming alive at County Stadium in Milwaukee. A 7-7 game. Early movement by Doug Martin of the Vikings. Now, was he drawn or did he jump in there on his own?
Well, he says he's drawn.
Encroachment foul. Number 79. Defense. Contact.
Jerry Markwright simply says you were overzealous, Mr. Martin.
You may notice he's got that plexiglass. There it is. It didn't look like anybody caused him to come over, but he has that plexiglass on there ever since Mark Mullaney got poked in the eye. Some of the Viking defensive linemen are wearing those because of the liberal rules for offensive linemen who can put their hands out at you, and you get more of a tendency to poke somebody in the eye.
First down and 5. Dickey gets the pass off, incomplete. Intended for Kaufman, and on the coverage for the Vikings was number 49, Keith Nord.
I think Kaufman fell before the pass was there. He stumbled as he was coming across, or he might have been able to catch that ball.
And we're on that infield dirt there, too, which is quite hard packed. We were down on there, but we did mention it's a little loose on top, so it may be, depending on what kind of shoes the individual players have chosen today, that he slipped a little bit and stumbled down. Second and 5. They need to get to the 3-yard line for a first down. 5 defensive backs in for the Vikings. Turner in the secondary, number 27. Dickey gets time, and it's intercepted by Studwell. Studwell out over the 10-yard line. As the intended receiver was Jesse Clark in the end zone, Studwell saw that all the way and made the grab.
And I don't think Lynn Dickey saw him at all. He was just laying back there on the end line in the end zone, and he's waiting for C-33 going into the end zone in the middle. And boy, there was a lot of linebacker action around there, and it was Scott Studwell with the interception. And
for Green Bay, an unhappy Lynn Dickey on the sideline. A wasted chance. Still 7-all. This is Darren Nelson. And this Packer defense, the ball comes loose, and in the end zone, touchdown. That is Tim Lewis, who stripped the ball and walked into the end zone. What a turnabout. So the Packers were stopped on the interception. On the very next play, Tim Lewis, the third-year man from Pittsburgh.
For some reason, Green Bay got across. Watch him jam up. All the offensive linemen of Minnesota was pushed back there, and then Nelson was caught in a whole bunch of traffic, and several people hit him, and nobody saw the ball except Tim Lewis as he scooped it up and took it in for the touchdown. A cornerback scores a touchdown.
The rookie Brian Noble put the tackle on him. The ball came loose, and it looked on that replay like it came off the foot of Randy Scott and bounced to Lewis, who alertly scooped it up into the end zone. Del Greco for the point after. And he's got it. So the Packers with a turnover. What?
Extremely well.
Lewis had 21 tackles coming into the game. And now he's got his first touchdown as a Packer. This is Rufus Bess. Bess gets out over the 20, near the 25-yard line, and we have a flag down on the play. Yes, we do. Offside on the kicking team. So let's see what the Vikings elect to do. They've got the ball at their 27-yard line. They can opt to keep it there or hope that they get a bigger run back, and that's what they're going to do. Packers will kick it off from 5 yards deeper at the 30-yard line.
Well, I think they feel it's a chance for a run back, because Del Greco hasn't kicked it all that far this year, and if he's farther 5 yards further back, somebody may be able to get it on the fly and a big play. So that's being offensive minded.
You know, it's almost with justification that go-ahead touchdown was scored by the Packers defense, because we have not seen a lot of art in the offense of either team today. If there's been one dominating factor, it's been the Green Bay Packers defense. The Vikings obviously have played well holding the Packers down also, but really the overpowering defense has been played by Green Bay, especially on critical downs. So it's kind of the right thing for them to come up with a go-ahead touchdown. The defensive team scoring it. 1:40 to play. And you see the Vikings turnovers have hurt them both times today. Interception leading to the score, and the fumble taken right in by Tim Lewis. Del Greco. This one is going to go out of bounds down near the 12-13-yard line. So he's going to be making it a little bit longer still.
And you better go back and get
25.
Get a steel shoe here pretty soon.
Get a bazooka is what he better get. He better hope for the win.
And look at the Minnesota kick return team. They're on about the 35-yard line of the Green Bay Packers.
I tell you, that's a good kick by Del Greco. He lined it down to about the 11-yard line. Darren Nelson gets out to the 40-yard line. They got to give Del Greco some credit on that one because kicking from his 25-yard line, he got it to the Vikings 10. Gary Ellerson made the tackle. A 26-yard return by Nelson, but from Minnesota's point of view, they get good field position at the 40-yard line, something they haven't had much of in this game.
Well, let's see. I don't think either quarterback has really sparkled either, in my opinion, Tim. I think they've had their moments, but Tommy Kramer's coming off a bad series. Let's see what happens.
Well, at least he's got some breathing room
Yes,
here.
he's got good field position. They haven't had great field position.
First down. Play action. Gets time. Nelson out of the backfield. First down into the 48-yard line of Green Bay. Brian Noble, the Arizona State rookie, made the tackle. And for an update of the NFL, let's go to Brent in New York.
First down, Minnesota.
Tim, it's a day for the fake field goal. Watch the Giants. Jeff Rutledge, the old option quarterback from Alabama. He'll pitch to Jess Atkinson. The Bengals were burned, leading by 11. They never should have been there. Back to you.
That play, that was terrific. Jess Atkinson, he's in there for the injured Ali Haji Sheikh for the Giants, and that might earn him a little more time. This pass intended for Jordan is incomplete. Jordan had a chance to catch that ball. He's really had his problems today.
He has. The ball was right there, but so was Murphy. Murphy was right there on the tackle as the ball arrived. But, the Packers haven't sacked Kramer very much, but they're putting pressure on him.
Well, not on that play, they didn't.
Well, the thing was that Johnson got his arms up in there, and
Kramer's 14 of 28 on second down. Nelson got about 6. It'll be third down and 4. Randy Scott forced him out.
Darren Nelson's become a pretty good skier, hasn't he? And, you know, he was out there at Stanford that didn't really want to come back to Minneapolis, remember, originally? Now he makes his home there and kind of adapted to the cold weather.
43-yard line.
4-year man from Stanford, didn't get much opportunity to run the football last year, and he's happy he's getting the action. Carricker comes in for Green Bay along with Darrell Jones and Gary Hayes in the passing situation. Vikings go to the shotgun, 3rd and 4. 3 wide receivers. Kramer lets it fly down the sideline, complete to Lewis. One man to beat. He'll score. Leo Lewis.
No flags.
So finally, a big play. Neither team, apart from the Lewis pickup down there, but a long gainer, the first one we've seen today. A 43-yard touchdown pass from Kramer to Leo Lewis.
And that's what you have to give credit to Kramer on this one, because he's back. He's laying way back. He doesn't, as he throws back, he's kind of falling backwards and just throws that ball way out in front. He's got to step on Tim Lewis, and then Leo Lewis cuts back, and he's going to be tough to catch. He's got a lot of speed. Nice play by the Minnesota Vikings, particularly Kramer and Lewis, but Kramer lifted that ball right in the perfect spot.
Stenerud with a chance to tie things up again. And he does. Gary Ellerson, number 42, and the deep man for Green Bay. Stenerud, the old man of the mountain, gets it down to the 8-yard line. Gary Ellis sidesteps the first tackler, hurdles another, still going, and swarmed under at the 29. A flag is down on the return play. Time winding down, 3rd quarter. A Packer is on his back, slow to get up, and the penalty indication is against Green Bay. 14-7 lead, 4 minutes. I think he looks like he's a pretty strong young man. So Packers first down, trailing, or rather tied now at 14 all, and it's Jesse Clark out to the 20-yard line as the Minnesota Vikings, with Kramer to Lewis tying it up as time winds down. In the third period, we're down to the 11-second mark. John Turner making the tackle, a gain of close to 8 yards. And they won't get this one off. So that's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Green Bay
Picture 20% sharper than VHS.
Second and 2 from the 21-yard line of Green Bay, and Clark gets the first down. So they're out to the 27. Studwell and Dolman made the tackle. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at County Stadium in Milwaukee. A tie football game. The Vikings, who have never led, came back to tie it at 14 all on the Kramer to Lewis 43-yard touchdown pass. Green Bay opened the scoring. Dickey to Clark in the second period. Kramer to Mike Jones tied it up. Lewis's fumble recovery taken into the end zone gave Green Bay a short-lived lead. Jesse Clark over the 30 for a gain of about 4. Joey Browner, Rufus Bess on the tackle for Minnesota. Browner 47, Rufus Bess 21.
You know, Jesse Clark was saying he didn't play football when he was in high school for many years before he started, and he has 5 brothers that he said were as good athletes as him that probably could have played pro football and never got a chance to.
It's a great story, I think, of that young man, and what he's achieved off the field as well, and has big plans for the future, looking ahead. Just really a quite remarkable young athlete in person. 5 defensive backs in on second down. Little roll by Dickey, looking up the right side, and it's batted away by Doug Martin, number 79. Incomplete. He was like Epps was the target.
Paul Coughlin was a target, and he made contact with a Studwell. If you watch 55 Studwell go back in the zone there, and you'll see Coughlin 82 comes into the picture right. You can see right there to right. There's Coughlin that he was looking for, and Coughlin was adjusting on the pattern, and he waited too long, and Martin was able to bat it down for Minnesota.
2 of those today by the Vikings. Great job on that one by Doug Martin, number 79. Third down play, the Pack 5 of 11, turning it over on third down. Out of the shotgun, Dickey gets time up the middle, and incomplete. Coughlin could not hold on. The ball a little behind him, but that's the kind of pass that Coughlin would normally catch. We've had a lot of drops out here today by both teams, and the tight ends have been getting the action and have been having the problems. Coughlin for Green Bay and Jordan for Minnesota.
And there is Dickey throwing out of the shotgun. Has time. Coughlin 82 breaks across. He's open. The pass is a little behind him, but you're right. He should have caught the ball, and he's the first guy that knows that. It's a key play. You got to turn it over now to the Vikings.
Darren Nelson awaiting the punt from Kokop. George Kokop, the former decathlete, rookie in the NFL as a punter, and this one not a whole lot on it from the left footer, goes out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Consistency has been a problem for this rookie. Brought in a 39.5 average. Full quarter to play. 13:26. Vikings ball. First down at their own 36-yard line. 37. Brown in motion. Pitch out to Nelson. Dropped the ball. And did he get back? The Packers were all over him. And yes, Minnesota retained possession. Nelson recovering his own fumble. But a 7-yard loss on the play. And Brown and Noble were right there with an opportunity to grab the loose ball for the Pack.
Well, the pitch was right on the dime. Nelson just dropped the ball, and he was lucky to recover. You'd think it was cold out there or wet or something. There's been so many fumbles, so many dropped passes that it's almost unbelievable.
It's going to get a lot colder in this part of the country.
They're fumbling now. Watch out in a couple of months.
Carter comes in and goes wide right for Minnesota, number 81. Leo Lewis out to the left. Out of the shotgun, Kramer on second and long. Up the middle, intercepted. Intended for Carter, picked off by Anderson. John Anderson, number 59, to the 40-yard line of Minnesota.
Interception by John Anderson.
As you look at Bud Grant and the chagrin, actually, Kramer threw into a lot of coverage that time. He threw into a lot of traffic. Anderson is number 59, just dropping back, watching the quarterback, and he was right in front of the receiver to make the interception. John Anderson has fought his way back and is a heck of a linebacker. He's had all kinds of broken bones in his arm and everything else, and he comes back and keeps playing good football for Green Bay. The Packers now have it at the 41-yard line of Minnesota.
14-14 the score. Fourth quarter. Jesse Clark running hard off tackle right, breaks tackles, and has the first down. What an effort on that play. He ran through people. Hello, Bess. Hello, Turner. Hello, Lee.
And hello, Studwell, and hello, Elshire, as Jesse Clark comes in, breaks the tackle. The first one was by Studwell, 55. Elshire missed him. Bess missed him. Look at that. Then he even has enough presence to give a big shoulder there before he's finally knocked down. He got a first down out of it.
Got to the marker. First down. The 30-yard line of Minnesota. Eddie Lee Ivory trying to cut it back into the middle. Picks up 3, maybe 4 yards on the play. Studwell is there. Millard is there. 4-man front for the Vikings. They have, as they have all season, shown a variety of defensive fronts. We'll call it a 3-yard game, 2nd and 7. Extra defensive back comes in. Now Keith North comes back in as they just took out a linebacker, McNeil. Oh, Clark is hit behind the line of scrimmage. Struggled forward and got back to the line itself. But a hit on him.
Mulaney, I believe it was. He came across. Nobody even touched him.
Mark Mulaney telling us yesterday that the vision in that eye, the injury he suffered against Atlanta last year in the right eye, is 20 to 100. So that was quite a serious injury for him, and it's a remarkable recovery he's made. The doctors don't think he'll ever see any better out of that eye. And he is wearing that protective shield that Johnny described earlier, and a couple of his teammates have adapted for preventive reasons. Third down play. Dickey deep, he's got a man open, and he fell down. Lofton slipped at the 1-yard line. I'm not sure he could have caught up to that ball anyway, but we'll never know because he fell down, and he was behind the defender. And I think that was Turner on the play. And double check on the replay.
And Carl Lee, he actually had a double coverage there, and he beat it. And Carl Lee was beaten, but he slipped as he came back, and you're right. We don't know whether he would have got the ball, but he certainly was open.
Fourth down, they send in Del Greco for the field goal try from the 35. It's a 45-yard attempt right on the hash mark near side. Del Greco with a chance to take the Packer lead. And he's got it right down the middle from Al Del Greco. And Green Bay is in front.
Bud Grant and Forrest Gregg watch it now. There's Forrest Gregg says, all right, we got it. And as usual, you don't get much reaction from Bud Grant.
Del Greco, the kickoff, comes down at the 7-yard line. Darren Nelson for the Vikings. Hit at the 22. Harlan Huckabee, number 25, and number 24, Mossy Cade. Well, that was the longest field goal of the season for that young man, Del Greco, a 45-yarder. His previous long was 40 this year, and so he has given the Pack a 17-14 lead. They capitalize on the turnover, the interception by John Anderson to pick up 3. From the Vikings' point of view, could have been worse, could have been 7.
Yes, it could have, and Del Greco probably deserves it. He was out very early today practicing kicking off the dirt, kicking off the grass. He said, I want to be ready for both situations. You never know where you have to kick from.
10:23 to play regulation time. First down, Minnesota. Kramer with lots of time trying to find a man open and goes to the short man, Brown. The release man is dropped immediately, and no gain on the play. Might even been a loss of a half yard. Well, they're going to give him a half yard forward.
Pretty good coverage downfield by the Packers because Kramer had all day. He could not find anybody and finally went to the final outlet that he had, and they didn't get much out of it. The Packer defense, as you see Randy Scott taking the signals in from the sideline and telling everybody what to do. And okay, there it tells the story, huh?
Sure does. 2 interceptions and a fumble by Minnesota have led to scores each time. Draw play. Darren Nelson gets about 7 to the 30-yard line. It'll leave 3rd and 2 for Minnesota. Brian Noble and Donnie Humphrey making the tackle for Green Bay. Forrest Gregg and his defensive staff, Dick Modulewski, have used all of those down linemen except the newcomer Mark Shoemate. But Humphrey and Martin have shared time on the nose. Johnson, Carricker has played some despite his broken hand, and Robert Brown, everybody getting into it. There's Dick Modulewski. 19 sacks coming into this game for Green Bay, and as we've commented, that there has been a story of the game that's been the Green Bay defense. Kramer, incomplete for Ted Brown. 4th down. Again, the pass a little high, but catchable. Nobody on him, no contact.
Plus, he was far enough down the field that he probably would have gotten the first down. He was about a yard beyond the first down marker. It was a short pass underneath the linebackers, and you know, I know they're down there playing and we aren't, but they should be catching balls like that.
Ed Brown, normally a reliable pass receiver. Coleman into punt. Flynn and Murphy are back for the Packers. Flynn the deep man. Another good punt by Greg Coleman. Flynn takes it at the 27. Hit immediately, but gets away. Runs out of real estate. Got back to the point where he started.
Boy, did he at He almost wishes he didn't get away.
43-yard punt by Coleman. And we'll have an outstanding defensive display by Green Bay today. The pitch out to Eddie Lee Ivory. He's having an afternoon. And look at him break out over the 40-yard line, and a first down, but a flag is down back at the line of scrimmage. Eddie Lee Ivory taking over the running chores from Clark today. Holding is the preliminary signal against Green Bay. 14-yard run by Ivory is wiped out.
Number 58, offense. First down.
The center, Mark Cannon, number 58, charged with the holding. One thing we haven't seen today, despite other miscues, is a problem with the exchange of the pass from center between Cannon and Dickey. Dickey with the sore hand thought it might be a problem, plus the fact that Cannon is a newcomer. He had Larry McCarron for so long. He retired. And Mark Cannon has had some problems getting the ball back to Dickey, and so far they haven't dropped one there. I don't want to put the hex on him. Clock formation right on 1st and 20. Ivory, nowhere to go, and he tried the left side twice. Finally, had nowhere to go at all, and a swarm of Vikings all over him, drop him for a loss. Mullaney, Martin, and Elshire all there.
Yes, the Minnesota defensive line really cashed in this time, and Ivory's looking and dancing and trying to figure out which way to go. Let's go this way. No, let's try this way. And finally he realizes it's a dead issue.
He's down at the 14-yard line. Then makes 2nd and very long. 23 yards to go. With 7:40 on the clock, the Packers hold the lead. They'd like to keep the ball. Use up some clock time. Gary Ellis, number 31, picked up about 3.
And the fans are booing a little bit, feeling that maybe the Packers are a little bit too conservative there and trying to eat down the clock, which is at 7:20.
Yeah, they may have a point. You know, I mean, there's so much time left with only a 3-point margin. They really need some first downs. They're not going to get them on that play.
You know who the forgotten man today is? Philip Epps.
Philip Epps has not been a factor. Lofton's only really made one relatively long gainer. We just haven't had long gainers. Lots of time for Dickey. Downfield for Epps, and it's overthrown. Well, you were prescient on that play, Johnny, but coverage on Epps downfield was pretty good from Lee and Turner, and the ball is incomplete. So 4th down, Packers will punt, and Minnesota will have reasonably good field position here with 6:53 to go. Very much anybody's ball game.
Well, let's watch Prokop to see what kind of a punt he's been, as you said, inconsistent. But the biggest inconsistency I see is that he kicks very low to the ground as far as the ball. They're line drive shots, and a good returner can get those in a hurry and return them.
Nelson waiting for it. He gets his
Well,
one
that's
up.
pretty high.
Yeah, not a bad punt. Taken at the 39 by Darren Nelson. Nelson tried to go straight ahead, got to the 45, but the door closed on him. And a 44-yard punt by Prokop, but the Vikings with good field position at their
That sore leg, but
he said yesterday, though, that it wasn't really bothering him.
it must be they would have tried him at least a little bit.
Short pass up the middle. Brown out of the backfield. Short of the first down, but a gain of 9 to the 46-yard line. Great crack by Anthony yesterday. When I guess you asked him about how severe the muscle pull was, and he said, well, it can't be too severe, not much of a muscle.
That's right. He doesn't weigh too much, but he said he's never had. Usually somebody's so fast, and receivers will have hamstring or groin pulls. He said it's the first time he's ever had a pulled muscle of any kind.
That was amazing. Yeah, he's only a 165-pounder, and he's pretty lean.
Oh.
Well, who's going to get that one? Across the line came Donnie Humphrey, number 79. And naturally, the pack says they was drawn.
Number 79, defense, contact before the snap, second down.
Gary Markwright did not agree. So they're marching the ball to the 41-yard line.
Look at those bird cages those defensive linemen have now. Boy, they're adding a bar a year. Pretty soon they're going to be so many bars you're not going to be able to see out from behind the mask.
First down for Minnesota on the penalty.
That's what the old-timers say. They didn't wear those bars. They were tough back in the old days.
Wide pro set for the Vikings. 5:54 to play. Brown in motion.
Whoa.
Sack. Donnie Humphrey.
Johnny Humphreys on the sack.
Second-year man from Auburn. And they complained about him coming in overweight this year. And Charlie Martin won the nose job, but Humphrey has got some weight off, and he's trying to impress the staff today.
Well, we should have known from what happened on the play that before, as he went by Swilly just like gangbusters. Humphrey showed great quickness as 79 beat 67, the center, and went in for the tackle. So he had an offsides, and then he made up for it with a nice sack. Third sack for the second sack for Green Bay, 3 for the Vikings.
Carricker comes in on second down. 2 defensive backs join the secondary. Kramer under pressure. The ball is there, complete. What a play by Tommy Kramer. And it is Mike Jones, number 89. And on the blitz, a perfect strike. 22-yard gainer.
They were really, you won't see this, but they were bearing down on Kramer like mad. And you'll see Mike Jones is 89. He's the inside receiver here. And then he dips to the outside as Leo Lewis, the short receiver, took his man out of the action. And perfect pass right on the dime. And Flynn was one of the tacklers. Who was the other one? Hayes.
Mike Jones comes up with a big reception there. Now the Vikings threaten. They have first down at the 27-yard line of Green Bay. The biggest play that they've made today. Nelson, he's got running room inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Randy Scott, the veteran and defensive captain, made the tackle. Five-year man from Alabama.
And a good block by number 66, the man you just saw there. Tausch came out, pulled out, kicked John Anderson out so that things could go right up the middle. Watch 66, the pulling guard. He's to the left side of your screen, right there at the left. He's kicking the linebacker John Anderson out, and then another good block by Curtis Roush, who came from the other side of the line.
Rouse is in house. Second and 2. Darren Nelson runs into a blocker as he was knocked back. Good play by Douglas. Douglas knocked the blocker back into Darren Nelson, and he had nowhere to go. Murphy came up and made the stop. Loss on the play.
Okay, as you can see, Robert Brown is across the line of scrimmage, too.
It's Brown, not
93.
Douglas.
Robert Brown got across there and jammed everything up. Douglas was around, though.
Yeah, but it was Brown. It was 93, not 53, and it was Brown who knocked the blocker, Brent Boyd, into Darren Nelson. So
Key play.
Yes, another big third down play for Minnesota. Kramer with time, complete to Leo Lewis. Good catch with Mark Lee all over him. Gets a first down for Minnesota to the 15-yard line.
Yes, and that was, they left everybody in. Only receivers that went out are these two that you see here. And you can see Mark Lee in the coverage. He's tight. He's right there on him, but the pass is perfect. And Leo Lewis made the grab, and they could not prevent the first down. And that time, just the two wideouts, and that was it. Everybody else stayed in and blocked.
The Packers have been able to dominate the Vikings on those third down plays today, but the Vikings have it rolling here. 3:18 to play. Trailing 17-14. In motion, Nelson. They give to Ted Brown inside. Plows to the 10-yard line. A gain of close to 5 for Ted Brown. Del Greco's 45-yard field goal, the difference in the game to this point.
Can you believe they got almost 5 yards out of that play? It was just a case of the offensive line standing up and just driving and walking forward and kind of pushing that Green Bay defensive line back. They wound up with almost, well, over 4 yards.
Calm demeanor of Bud Grant along the sidelines. Sees his team here with a chance to take the lead. Ted Brown, 11 carries today, leading rusher for the Vikings. Second down and 6. One pump. Off to Brown. Down to the 5. Inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. Got away from Randy Scott, who's unhappy with himself for not nailing him right at the point where the ball arrived. Lee and Anderson had to make the tackle. And Kramer's going to let it wind down to the 2-minute mark here. As he's over there at the sideline. And the Vikings have first and goal at the 3. So that gives Bud Grant the opportunity to discuss the strategy. 6 to join Ted Brown in the backfield. 5 down linemen in the goal line defense for Green Bay. They have been tough today. Can they be tough here? Jordan in motion. Brown is stopped after a gain of a yard. Ted Brown got inside the 2. It'll be second and goal.
This is where the Packers should start calling timeouts because of the St. Louis game and then a great game against Detroit. So critical game, critical series right here.
Goal line offensive line for the Vikings. Goal line defensive stack for the Packers. They give it to Allen Rice. Rice is stopped outside the goal line. Allen Rice stacked up. Third down, and Brian Noble, a pumped-up rookie, made the hit.
There was just no way that Ted Brown was going to make it through there because you can see Noble 91 and a couple of pursuit men from the inside, and they stop him.
Timeout, Green Bay.
Boy, I tell you, he did a great job fighting off the block of the tackle, Tim Irwin, number 70, 1 yard out. They've got Brown and Nelson now, the running backs.
Now, there is no I formation. Remember, they ran out of the I last week.
They're on the dirt again, however. Over the top. No, the fake. The pass to the corner, incomplete. Good fake by Kramer. I thought Nelson had the ball. Then he threw it intended for Milwaukee. But it is overthrown and incomplete. And it looks like it's going to be Stenerud to tie or attempt to.
Okay, here are the coaches' reaction. How do they react to this? Okay, Forrest Gregg, much more
You could take the same
excitable
picture
than
and Bud and leave it up.
That's
all
right.
day.
We could use the same picture.
Wouldn't change at all. Well,
He's not going for it.
no, he's not.
Well, there's more time left in this football game.
Yes, yeah, 1:27 to play. Stenerud from the 9-yard line. So this could be a chipper for the veteran. Good snap, good hold, and a tie football game.
If he doesn't, then they become wedge blockers, and we'll have to hit 280-pound guys.
Yeah, let's watch Lofton see how he does on this. And he let it fly to Ellis. Ellis gets out to the 30-yard line, so those little guys up front did pretty well. The ball came loose, but play had been whistled dead. And it was Dennis Folks who made the tackle on Ellis. They'll spot it at the 29-yard line. 24-yard return, and not bad field position for Green Bay with 1:19 remaining in regulation time. Lynn Dickey will bring out a passing offense to try and come up with the winning points before time expires in regulation time. They've only thrown once deep to Epps. It was overthrown. He had double coverage on him. Lofton comes out to the right. Epps out to the left. Shotgun for the Pack. 5 defensive backs. 6 for the Vikings. Dickey steps up well. Hits the short man, Ivory. Ivory has the first down. Over the 40-yard line to the 41. Tackle by Studwell. 1:05 and counting. Packers in the hurry-up. Crowd getting into it now. Packers trying to even their record at 3-3. Dickey. Incomplete, intended for Clark. Clark tried to turn upfield, it appeared. Had the ball in his hands with Studwell on his back. And did not hold on to the football. That stops the clock with 52 seconds remaining. Second down from the 41-yard line of Green Bay. Forrest Gregg discussing things on the sideline. Bob Schmelker is the offensive coordinator of the Packers, organizing this last series of offensive plays. 52 seconds on the clock. Dickey for Ivory. Can hold on. Again, the ball was there. Dickey's been on target twice, but Rufus Bess had close coverage and might indeed have got a hand on the ball to knock it loose. Credit Rufus Bess. Coverage on Ivory. Third down. 46 seconds to play. Dickey now 11 of 27. But bear in mind the number of drops we've seen today.
Add that to fumbles. I've never seen a game where there's been so many passes and fumbles dropped.
Third down. Ivory has the first down. Out of bounds at the Minnesota 40. Best drove him out. 18-yard gain. 39 seconds remaining.
Well, that time James Lofton came down from his wide receiver spot, came across the field real short, and drew all the coverage by the Viking defensive backs, and then Ivory just filtered out into the flat and was wide open. There was obviously a missed assignment on that one. And there's the
now,
man.
at this point, certainly the possibility is for number 10, Al Del Greco, to be the factor. They're at the 40. One more first down would give him a reasonable chance, and a few more yards would give him an excellent chance. The blitz is on. The pass to Ivory. Good catch. Out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Pushed out by Bess. By Turner, make it, number 27, John Turner. 35 seconds left. Second and a long 3 for a first down. So Del Greco will almost certainly get a shot at it here unless they have a loss on a play. They like to get it closer for him, obviously.
They still have the one timeout, so they're not restricted to going out of bounds. They can throw over the middle. They need one more completion for a good shot at a field goal.
It's off to Gary Ellis, and Ellis will be very close to the first down. He stopped the clock getting out of bounds with 29 seconds remaining. And the spot is going to be right there at the marker, so we'll see if the officials have given the first down or not. Willie Teal pushed him out.
And I think this shows a real advantage for Lynn Dickey on the shotgun. You know, he has that vision, even though he says he has to make sure that he catches the ball, but he seems so much more comfortable. He doesn't have to worry about getting back and setting up, and he's not that mobile, and it has been a real advantage in this drive. He's spotting those guys out in the flat quickly.
It's a good point, Johnny, and I think with Lynn, even as he was telling us yesterday about it, he just needs to do it a few more times. Here's an experienced pro. He just needs a little more practice at it in game conditions to not worry about making the catch of the snap and getting the proper grip on the ball. It'll come more automatically to him. And while right now he said to us he still really favors taking it from center, what we've seen is what you've described. And probably at the end of this game, Dickey himself will say, hey, I kind of like that shotgun. That's provided they win the football. If they lose the game, we have a different attitude. So it is third and about the length of a football. 29 seconds left. It looks like they're going to try and get the first down and then call the timeout. A flag down.
Oh, they may have taken too much time there.
Well, we'll find out. It looked like they did have the first down, not by much, mind you. Eddie Lee Ivory.
Full strike, number 68.
Oh, boy.
Offense, third down.
Great Cook, the veteran tackle. And that's a big penalty. Back to the 35.
You can just see it over there to the right of your screen there. Just barely moved a little bit too soon. But he did move too soon. But I thought it was interesting. Forrest Gregg wasn't even worried about the penalty. He wasn't saying, oh, gosh, why'd you do that? He was all concentrating on what we have to do next.
What we do next. Yeah. It would be a passing play regardless if they got the first down there. It's third down now. 27 seconds left. They got to get something in there. A little early movement by the Vikings, it appeared. No flags down. Dickey forced out of the pocket, lets it fly, complete to the 11-yard line.
Dickey is down.
Dickey is down, and the flag is down. James Lofton, a 25-yard gain. Let's see what happens here. Dickey is not yet on his feet. Now he's getting up. The ball is at the 10-yard line, and it looks like it's going to stay there.
Excellent play by Dickey. He had to move forward in the pocket. He couldn't find anybody, and he started to take off and run, but he knew he had to get the ball downfield, and then he takes a hit from Mark Mullaney. It must have been
Number 77, defense, first down.
Mark Mullaney, and you heard the referee, Jerry Markwright, describe it as a blow to the face. And so the Packers are at the 5-yard line with the penalty tacked on to the gain on the pass to Lofton. Lofton was wide open, as some of those Viking defenders probably thought Dickey was going to take off and run.
Exactly. They reacted to Dickey, who almost ran to the line of scrimmage and stopped and got the pass off. So
16 seconds remaining. Well, the Packers have victory within their grasp if they don't make a mistake.
I don't know.
Dickey dives inside the 5 on the quarterback sneak. No chance to fumble the ball on a handoff. And timeout called by the Packers. 10 seconds left.
Last charge timeout, Green Bay.
Jim Zorn started on the field to hold the ball. So it looks like we're going to see the field goal play, although Greg is surprised to talk to Zorn, who will be the holder.
And he was talking about Jim Zorn's been doing a great job of holding. He said he's never seen anybody who can get the snap, get the ball down there in perfect position like Zorn. And he said Zorn not only as a holder, but he feels that Zorn is going to be around next year, too, as a quarterback.
32-year-old Jim Zorn getting a second chance in the NFL after being let go by Seattle. Dave Craig becoming the starter out there. And had a lot of great years in his early going with Seattle when the team wasn't so good. So much discussion during the timeout to make sure that they've got everything exactly right in the blocking scheme. Minnesota obviously will be trying to come in there and break up the field goal try by Del Greco. 10 seconds on the clock. Line of scrimmage at the 5 of Minnesota, tied at 17. A victory by the Pack would draw them even at 3-3. Minnesota would fall to 3-3. They're going to spot it at the 13-yard line. A 23-yard try by Al Del Greco. Hash marks far side. It's good. No flags. Packer lead. 7 seconds left.
Score, Green Bay Packers 20. Minnesota Vikings 17.
Well, it appears it's going to be a couple of tough losses in a row for Bud Grant. And taking a look at the kick, there was no doubt the ball was down. It was up and good for Green Bay. You may have wondered why they didn't let the clock run down a little bit further. The reason being, if there was an offensive foul, say, on that, say somebody committed a foul, they would have a little time left to get another chance at it. In other words, if you run it down to 2 seconds and you commit a foul, you're out, then you're in trouble. So that was pretty smart coaching by Forrest Gregg to call it with about 10 seconds, unless the Minnesota Vikings pick up the ball here and run it back for a touchdown. But
22-yard field goal by Del Greco. And remember, we're going to be going to the Chicago-San Francisco game. Almost all of you looking in will be seeing our doubleheader game. And we are now slightly over the hour. That game has begun, and Walter Payton has scored for the Bears to give Chicago a 7-0 lead over the 49ers. So that's how it stands, and as I say, almost all of you looking in to this telecast will be seeing our doubleheader action, and the Bears are in front of San Francisco 7-0. 12:31 remaining first quarter at Candlestick. Forrest Gregg and his team can pull even at 3-3, and all of a sudden the NFC Central can get very, very interesting. Minnesota will fall to 3-3. Detroit losing today will be at 3-3, and dependent on the Chicago-San Francisco outcome, we can have an interesting log jam in the NFC Central. Darren Nelson, the deep man. Del Greco hits the swift kick, and it's fielded by Maurice Turner at the 25-yard line. He throws it back to the tight end Malarkey. Malarkey laterals it off, and it is stopped. Rufus Best, number 21, at the 35, and this game is over. So the Green Bay Packers have defeated the Minnesota Vikings. For Johnny Morris, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from Milwaukee. The Chicago Bears next take on the San Francisco 49ers. You've been watching CBS.